This is the Dr. Chris Radio Horror Show. If you're not listening to us live on WCW 91.3 FM right now, hopefully you're catching this up on our Radio Horror YouTube channel where we stick all of our interviews. Tonight on the show, from the movie Fantasma, or also known as Bloody Ballet, we have the director and writer on the show with us, Brett Mullen. Thank you for coming on the show with us, Brett.
Thanks for having me. Hey, guys.
Phantasma, or Bloody Valentine, Bloody Ballet, is about when a beautiful ballerina dancer, Adria Mina, lands the lead role in the upcoming Nutcracker performance. She's forced to face her demons, jealousy, and tensions as it's provoking the supernatural, and a whole lot of really weird stuff happens throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
Why is it? Why does it have two different names?
Well, actually, the movies went through three titles now. It was originally called The Malevolent, and at the time when we were doing that film, there was another film called The Malevolent that was in Cannes and doing other festival runs. So we decided, let's just bail on it. The movie has a lot to do with the ghost of Adriana. So we decided to go with Phantasma, Italian translation for ghost. And that's how we came up with that title. And then when it got picked up for distribution, apparently, I don't know, some Mackenzie lady or something like that from Hulu said, I don't think Phantasma is a great name. We should change it to like Bloody Ballet. And that's exactly what they did. I didn't hear about the title change until it was starting for its release. And I tried to, directors are kind of sensitive to, things they've, their own scripts and, how the movie is interpreted. So I was trying to fight for Phantasma. I ended up getting the US, it is Bloody Ballet, but everywhere else it's going to be Phantasma. So it ends up being, slightly confusing, but I did want to try to release the title under Phantasma. That's the name that, I preferred. But either way, hopefully, people will be like, oh, Bloody Ballet, let's check that thing out too. So maybe it'll attract the two audiences. You never know.
The problem is when they changed the title to Bloody Ballet and they gave it the poster artwork or DVD artwork or whatever the artwork is in the press releases, it wasn't the very artistic style poster that's on IMDb. It's a picture of a woman in a ballet costume with her back to us. It's scarred up and she's got blood on it. And it looks like, oh, wow, I kind of don't want to watch this.
For my movies that I've done so far, this is my second feature. So my first one's Bombshell Bloodbath, and both posters were illustrated by Graham Humphreys in the UK, and he's well known there. He did some of the covers for Full Cheese Stuff for his vinyl releases for the music, and he's done Return of the Living Dead stuff, Demons. He's just done a ton of art, and it's beautiful stuff. So he worked with me again on the Phantasma one, and that's kind of, I think that speaks to the movie. The illustrations and stuff like that. I know that the general audience, someone going to a red box, may not understand the illustrations. So, I can see why distribution would do that. But to me, I'm more interested, like when I see something with really creative art on the front that's drawn, it just reminds me of, the early 70s, late 80s, kind of all that whole space of time where people are doing rad illustrations and I like it. So it's too bad, but we'll see how long the illustration hangs on IMDb. Maybe they'll do a limited release like stuff later on and decide to go with the illustration.
Yeah, the illustration is better than what they put out in the press release.
I get that a lot.
The other thing about the title is that I was wondering if they were worried it was gonna be too closely associated with Phantasm. And they didn't want not that Phantasm's a bad movie, obviously, but they don't want people to get confused. And normal audiences that aren't horror fans would get confused. But that's just the last thing I wanted to say about the title. The film itself
totally.
Did you study ballet growing up? What inspired you to want to make a ballet horror movie?
I didn't, but I did skateboard. But I think that to me, ballet is just it's a tough sport. So when I'm thinking of, obviously I'm a huge fan of Suspiria, Murder Rock. a lot of dance movies that are really cool, and I think that ballet is beautiful. So there's a good contrast to do if you're doing like a beautiful horror film. I like, keeping it pretty but making it scary. So ballet is perfect for that. But so it's just like I thought it was a good sport for Adriana to do in the film because she had one thing that kind of balanced out her life. So, her ballet is her one thing she's got. And, it's kind of like that strength kind of thing. So it ended up, being really fun to do the ballet too. I had a whole ballet studio that was doing they're called Stavna in Richmond, and they did all the dances and everything like that. And Kendra and Katie went to ballet school, and they learned, just a basic steps. I mean, the lead, Kendra Carelli, she already kind of knew a little bit of ballet, but she went back and learned some, advanced techniques and stuff like that, and that made shooting, way more of a breeze than it would have been.
Something else. Talk a bit about the music in the movie, because the music in the movie is definitely out of the 80s. It's straight up like 80s weird ass type of music. Very Goblin.
I love. Yeah. I actually got to see Goblin not too long ago, so that was really cool. But I had the same guy score, or at least do the main theme of Fantasma, who did the Bombshell Bloodbath soundtrack. So that's Matt Hill from Umberto, and he's just got a cool style. I mean, it does sound, just like Goblin or whatnot. So he did a lot of it, and then I had Night Stop. I think Night Stop's from the UK, but they're awesome, like new wave bands. So they did a lot of the kind of electronic stuff, and then one that was kind of like more like diner scenes and stuff like that. That was Suspetto, and they're from France, I believe. But altogether, it kind of gave it like 3 different sounds, and it would just kind of depend on the situation of where those kind of sounds would come in. Where if it was like death and stuff like that, then I used like the hard electronic, and then Suspetto was like all the calm scenes leading in, and Umberto was like, some of the dance segments and the, whatnot. So I love music in film. That's one of the things I love the most about horror films, at least the indie ones, is really the comeback of the, classics. The style with the lighting and the music and everything was just as much a part of the film as the cinematography. So yeah, I'm a huge, I've also been in like too many bands. I think I've been in like 15, like just little bands. So I just love music. So
some of the imagery in the movie was straight up some of the most bizarre stuff I'd seen in a film in a long time. One scene that stuck out to me is when our lead actress is in the bathtub, and then the girl with the vines, or she's got, I don't know what she's wrapped in, or it's just part of her skin.
Yeah, it's totally disgusting. I was calling her Tar Woman in it, but it was basically, the death of Adriana's, like the last bit of her subconscious mind that was holding on to anything good. In the movie when the dead version of her rolls out, but that was really cool to do. Kendra had to do a full body mold. So I can't remember how long those things take, like 8 hours. And so yeah, they took a whole thing of her body and then made all the like the fake skin and everything. It was already pre-made like on a mannequin mold of her body and then placed on her in the tub. So then to pull that shot off, we did a motorized system, and we did one with her on one side of the tub and one with the other. And that way we had the same exact move, to push in. And because I think when people try to do the, the rotoscoping and stuff like that, and it's locked off, it looks kind of forced. So I thought we'd give it like, a little bit of a dolly, and it looked pretty cool. I like that scene. The green goo was gross. I can't remember whose idea that was. Like, I was cool with the tub monster. I thought that was freaky, but then one of the effects guys, I think it was probably like Matt Patterson. He was like, let's just have it vomit green goo. I was like, okay, sure, let's do it.
How do you fit 2 actresses in that tub? The tub's pretty small too.
Yeah, I mean, it was only one person. We just, it's 2 plates. So, That's how he did it. It's her and then her again, and we just split screened it with a motorized system. It was kind of funny because she had to react to no one being there both times. So
Do you do you make a cameo in the appearance yourself? You one of those type of directors?
I did in my first movie, but I didn't in this one. I think there was talk of like a couple of us being in stuff, but I was like, I don't know. I mean, I was wearing a lot of hats in it. I was directing it, and I was DPing a lot of it, on camera too, and trying to make sure that everybody's getting ready. I mean, it was a pretty small crew, so I didn't have enough time to fart around. Though I would have loved to do something in it. I think that's kind of fun when directors do that. But no, I do not have an acting cred for it.
Do you are you glad or are you disappointed that the movie is getting released and tying into? Well, it's not tied into it because the two movies are completely different. But they're marketing off of the release of the Suspiria remake. Are you happy for that? Or are you kind of disappointed that it has to be tied so close together that your film will get a reputation as being, oh, well, that's just a ripoff and that's a knockoff, or
Right.
whatever people will say.
Yeah. Well, people can people can say what they want. I mean, that doesn't bother me. I've got tough skin when it comes to that stuff. But I mean, it's kind of an honor to be mentioned that it looks or feels like Suspiria because that is an amazing movie. I haven't seen the new one yet, but when we started filming, or wrote and we started filming Phantasma, there wasn't a remake announced. I mean, it took 2.5 years to make the movie, so uh, I didn't know Suspiria was going to come out. We were like almost halfway done with filming, and then they're like, "Oh, a Suspiria is going to come out," and I said immediately, "Well, that's going to help the movie because negative press is good press sometimes, and people can beat it up all they want, but really, Phantasma, I'm just trying to deliver a movie to the fans that's really fun, that reminds you of the old movies. So yes, it does have Bava and Argento lighting to it, with the colors, but they're played intelligently in the movie where, it really only starts showing color when something bad is about to happen. It doesn't have to bleed through the whole scene. So between the music and that, yeah, there's some Suspiria to it, but it's a completely different film than Suspiria when you watch it. It has none of the storyline or anything like that. It's got ballet, it's got color, and then it's got two different nods to Suspiria. There's a peacock mirror in the dress room, and I thought that was kind of cool. And then we did a scene with worms on a plate that's kind of like the maggot infestation. So there's little things because obviously our team was a big Suspiria loving team. So it's an honor for someone to say, oh, that's just like Suspiria, but at the same time, it's not. When you watch it, if you like Suspiria, you'll probably like this movie if you can have an open mind going into it. But so I don't care. People can make whatever kind of comments they want about it being Suspiria or whatever. I'm just trying to give a really fun horror film to the fans. So
The movie has all of the just has like this just insane mixture of many different themes in it, and it was brought together pretty nicely for its like it being this kind of like twisted gothic thriller.
yeah. What in particular are you thinking?
Um, the atmosphere overall was incredibly enjoyable. The one thing that really stuck out to me that a lot of times I've seen some of these. There was this Uncorked production media. Is that who distributed it?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of
High
times,
octane pictures. I think Uncorked is a division in there, so I'm not sure which
yeah,
one
I'm
it's
trying to
under.
remember who distributed this one, but a lot of times their movies are kind of hit or miss, and I've seen like really bad cinematography. But the one thing that caught my attention immediately when watching this movie was just like, oh wow, the cinematography is really great in the first like couple minutes, and that's gonna hook me through the rest of the movie. Because I think sometimes if the cinematography is uh, really bad, it doesn't matter if the rest of the movie is amazing. You're not gonna be able to want to be able to sit through it because you have to watch it. But the way this movie was filmed and the way it looks, it's so, it's so up there with big studio films, and stick that in whatever big studio films that you want to stick it with.
Yeah, well, that's a huge compliment. I mean, I love cinematography in films. It's one of my favorite things too, and I take a lot of pride in everything. I shoot. I had great help on camera as well, but the little short I just got done doing, it's called Belladonna. It's been on a festival run, and it's won best cinematography, I think, at every festival it's been at, which is huge and awesome. And it shows like those kind of movies, they're a bit quirky. Movies like Fantasma, they've if you're a general audience going into it, it's kind of weird. So it does need really creative cinematography, music, pacing. It needs, gore placed every, 5 to 10 minutes to keep that hook in there. Pretty Women, it's got that formula, but cinematography for sure. I agree with you. If it's not good in these kind of films, it just can't survive, because these movies don't sit like Quentin Tarantino style with dialogue that's like super deep and 30 minutes long. These things are like, flash, this happens. There's a tub creature, there's a devil, there's a person losing eyeballs, there's, whatever. So yeah, you gotta make it fun. And I don't believe in a camera sitting. That's why the opening scene, I wanted it locked off, and we had like a snow machine, and, we had the cops come and do the scene. It was, what are they called? Spotlight Express came and did that. And I wanted to start the movie completely still, because the rest of the movie was gonna go all out right after that. So that kind of sits you through the whole title. It's a one shot pretty much. I thought that was kind of a cool way to do it.
Appreciate you coming on to talk to us a little bit about Fantasma or Bloody Ballet, depending on where you are and what title do you happen to catch of the movie. I highly recommend hunting it down and checking it out. Is it available yet for mass audiences to consume?
Let's see, Tuesday. This Tuesday, November 13th, it comes out on video on demand. I'm not sure what the platforms are 100%. I would check your Redbox. I've like looked right before this thing, and I saw it was definitely on Apple TV and stuff like that for pre-order. So, there's good outlets to see it. And then on December 4th, it'll come out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much again for coming on the show to talk about this amazing movie.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.